Hello, my name is Bradley Ingram, and for this challenge, I had to introduce a new mechanic into Tournamental, which is a tile-based game. It's got a lot of variety. You can add a lot of different things to it, and my mechanic that I implemented was a way to backtrack to a previous tile that you were once at, and I got inspiration from a lot of different games to incorporate like um, controlling time or space or anything like that. One specifically was Overwatch. Tracer has this ability called Recall where she can go back to a previous spot where she was safe. Um, and here I will give you a little demonstration of what happens. So here was just a message tile. We just walk on it and tells you press Q and it changes the color of the tile. And when you press Q again, it moves you to it. So this is useful for getting through, say like there's a double barrier. Oh look, that one over there is already open, so I guess this button opens it. The door mechanics is just roughed one up real quick so I could just demonstrate what the possibilities are of this. So you have two doors, one button that moves both doors, and you can only go through one at a time apparently. So what you do, you can go through, mark that one, come over here, give it a little click, and then and go anywhere we want to and be able to recall to it or backtrack. And we can go through the second door and move on to the next level. And then this is the second one, just kind of like to give a little bit more in depth, kind of like feel for it. This kind of just demonstrates a little bit more of the possibilities of the doorways that I have, what they can do. Get you through to where you need to be. And I've actually made it where you can't place them on these doorways, so it took me a little bit more to do, but got it done. All right, now I got that going. Let's take a look at what I actually had to do. All of my code was actually, just about all of my code was done inside of the player itself. It didn't take a lot, but it did take a little bit of trying to figure out which I needed to do. I initially started by creating a new input, just in the project settings. I'm not going to go all the way into there. Most people know how to do that. And then I just called the input action to what is set to Q right now. And then the first thing it goes to is just to check and see if this new Boolean that I created is active or not. By default is set to false. So first time you input it, it's going to go ahead and go to, in here, it's going to set the Boolean, or actually no, it's going to go down here first. Up here would check if it was true, and it would, I'll come back to it. I'll do the if it's not first. So if it's not, it's going to find out what tile is current, and then it's going to make sure that's not a door, one of the new doors that I created. And I feel like making that the first thing to do would be make sure I can't mark that tile. Next is going to set that Boolean that we talked about to true, and it's going to set our new parameter that we created called mark tile to be whatever the current tile is. And moving on from there, it just goes down to determining what the type of tile it is, and then process it accordingly. So here I just got a couple of booleans, a couple of branches that check and see which one's which. If it's not that one, it just goes to the next one, and it's just a couple of different type of tiles we can stand on. So like the floor tile, message tile, and teleporter. I had to do them individually because the components that are attached to them are slightly different. Then moving on, like I just said, components, determine what component to alter, because we're going to mark that. We're actually going to have a visual representation of it. And so for the floors, we had the plane 0. Most of them were called plane 0, but I couldn't just put a reference directly to plane because there were different blueprints. Sorry about that. And then we choose what material we're going to mark it at. All of them are the same one. I could have just done them all to that one, but I was getting a little bit of an error. And then here we just play a little sound, which is just default sounds from Windows. And coming back up, so in the instance that it is already being marked as backtracked, so we're going to come up and we're going to set that boolean to false, and then we're going to just straight up move to that tile. We're going to play a little sound. That one's also another default Windows sound. And just like on the false parameter, I think it was the false parameter. Yeah, the false parameter. We check to see which tile we were sitting on. And this time it has this determining what it is a little bit more important. Because we had to determine the component and alter it and set it back to its original material. And after that, there's no sound. So for these, of course, each individual one is a different material, and go from there. What I created was a few things in here, not too much. It didn't take a whole lot to actually get it done. Some mechanics. So I talked about the blueprint and everything like that. Components that I created. Let me think. Did I actually complete any? Don't think I actually had to create any components for it. I was going to make a completely different entity, but it just didn't pan out the way I wanted it to make it. So I moved on, just went with it. Well, this is my mechanic. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.